The Toronto Maple Leafs are one of the most iconic franchises in NHL history, known for their storied past, passionate fan base, and rich traditions. The team was founded in 1917 as the Toronto Arenas, making them one of the league's oldest teams. In 1927, the franchise was renamed to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and over the years, they've had their fair share of triumphs and challenges. In their early years, the Leafs, then known as the Arenas, had immediate success, winning the 1918 Stanley Cup in just their second season. The team changed names again to the Toronto Maple Leafs in 1927 under the ownership of Eddie Livingston. Throughout the 1940s and 1950s, the Leafs were one of the most dominant teams in the league. Under coach Punch Imlach, they secured 5 Stanley Cup championships in a span of just 11 years: 1942, 1945, 1962, 1963, and 1965-1964. The 1960s were arguably the peak of the Leafs' dominance. The team won 4 Stanley Cups in the decade alone: 1962, 1963, 1964, 1967, with the 1967 championship being their last Stanley Cup win to date. This marked the end of an era, as the Leafs' last championship came just before the NHL's big expansion in 1967. Following their 1967 Stanley Cup victory, the Maple Leafs entered a long period of struggles and disappointment. Despite having some talented rosters in the following decades, the Leafs couldn't capture another championship. Throughout the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s, the team made some playoff appearances, but they were never able to break through. The 2000s were a mixed bag for Toronto. While the team had strong regular season finishes, the Leafs were still unable to break through in the postseason. Despite key players like Matt Sundin, Darcy Tucker, and Robert Reichel, the Leafs couldn't reach the Stanley Cup final. This period saw a lot of frustration for Leafs fans, and the team failed to make significant playoff runs. Their lack of success in the playoffs has become a long-running joke among rival teams and fans. The 1993 Eastern Conference Finals marked one of their closest chances to reaching the Stanley Cup Finals during the 90s, but they lost to the Montreal Canadiens. This defeat became a defining moment for a franchise that would struggle for decades to come. By the early 2000s and 10s, the Leafs found themselves at a crossroads, leading to major changes both on the ice and in the front office. Their rebuild officially began in 2015 under GM Kyle Dubas, who focused on building a team around youth and skill rather than just grit and toughness. The Toronto Maple Leafs have undergone a major transformation in recent years, and today they're a playoff contender with one of the most exciting rosters in the NHL. The 2023 to 2024 season has been one of the most promising in recent years for the Maple Leafs. They bolstered their roster with key acquisitions, and their core of Matthews, Marner, and Tavares continues to be one of the most formidable in the league. With a balanced approach of offensive firepower and strong defensive play, the Leafs have finally become true Stanley Cup contenders once again. However, despite all the talent, the pressure is on this team to deliver. Leafs Nation, the passionate fan base, is still waiting for that long-awaited Stanley Cup. The team's ultimate goal is clear: to end the 56-year championship drought and return to glory.